Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. This is the Q&A episode, so let's actually get right to it, shall we? So Jody from Ohio says, is Megaraptor a Coelurosaur or a Carnosaur? Well, for a long time, Megaraptor was actually thought to be a Dromaeosaur, and that was back when it was discovered, because it actually had a very large claw. But they thought of it as like as the foot claw of a Dromaeosaur, the killing claw of a Dromaeosaur, and they thought like, oh, this has got to be the largest Dromaeosaur ever. But it wasn't until, like, I think in the 2000s is when they actually discovered more bones of Megaraptor, and so they actually see that no, this claw didn't belong on a foot, it belonged on a hand, and so they figured like, okay, what could it actually be? And so they looked at the arm and thought like, okay, could it be like an Allosaur? Could it be like a Spinosaur? And so it was actually a toss-up between these two for a while. And so then they decided like, okay, it's not a Spinosaur, and so it is more closely related to, like, say, the Neoventrids. And so that was the consensus for a long time. But then more discoveries of other Megaraptorans that have been discovered, suggesting that like these are possibly not related to Allosaurus at all, or any of the Argentinosaurs or Neoventrids. It could be a Tyrannosaur, a type of Tyrannosauroid, like an early version of a Tyrannosaur. But then there's some conflicting things that go on right there. Is that it does not have the same features as most other Tyrannosauroids, and so they actually now say that it's a basal Coelurosaur. And so that's probably what I'm actually going to go with here. It's probably a basal Coelurosaur. You see, Carnosaur is actually kind of a dated term, but even though they actually are kind of you put Carnosaurs with like, say, the Allosaurs and the Carcharodontosaurids, Neoventrids, those types of those types of theropod dinosaurs. And so it kind of makes sense for this animal to actually be a basal Coelurosaur, because it actually has some Coelurosaur features, but also some features that don't resemble that much of a Coelurosaur as well. So it's actually still a toss-up right now, but I'm going to go with how the evidence is actually kind of supporting right now, and that it's actually a basal Coelurosaur. And Benjamin from Hong Kong, is Aerosteon a very fast dinosaur? So you got multiple questions here, and I'll answer the first one right here. So is Aerosteon a very fast dinosaur? So with actually being a Megaraptoran as well, possibly a Neoventrian, it possibly is that with the size of the animal, but see, the thing is that there's no complete legs of this animal that have been found. The femurs of this animal have not been found, so we don't know how long the femur really is for Aerosteon. And so it could be a fast dinosaur, but also if it's a large animal, it might actually be a little bit slower than other Megaraptorans or Neoventrians. But I would say it's actually possibly like a moderate speed, probably like maybe 20 miles per hour, which is not bad. At all. Is Yutyrannus a very robust tyrannosaur? Well, when we look at Yutyrannus, it is actually kind of a large early version of a tyrannosaur, and so it is the largest tyrannosaur that actually has been discovered to have feathers. And so with its nature, the skull is a bit slender. The body is actually kind of almost designed as almost robust. I wouldn't say it's actually as robust as, like, say, Yutyrannus, Daspletosaurus, or even Tyrannosaurus rex for that matter. I would actually say that it's not as robust as those guys, as the later Tyrannosaurs, but I would actually say it's actually robust for its time. And there were other small Tyrannosaurs that were actually living alongside Yutyrannus, and so it would make sense is that, like, Yutyrannus is actually kind of like the first step for Tyrannosaurs to get larger. And so would it be as robust as, like, say, Tyrannosaurus rex? Absolutely not. I would actually say that it's slightly slender but robust at the same time, and so I would say that it's actually kind of in between slender and robust. How pointy are the spikes of Yutyrannus? back. Well, I looked this dinosaur up. It's a very unknown dinosaur. Fossils of this dinosaur found in China, and this dinosaur actually is a stegosaurid, and so it has actually got the plates on the back and the spikes on the tail. But the weird thing is that the plates are very short, and also they're kind of triangular in shape instead of almost diamond shape or pentagon shaped like Stegosaurus. So I would say how pointy the spikes are, it would actually be the same as other stegosaurs if you're talking about the tail. But if you're talking about the tail, you know, they're still going to be very pointy. But if you're actually talking about like say the plates on the back, I would say pointy in a way. I would actually say they're not really that pointy. I would actually say that they're actually going to be a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of a curvature at the tip. And so that means that those plates are not designed for defense whatsoever. They're actually designed for display. Tail spikes, of course, are made for defense. And if you actually look at stegosaur tail spikes, you actually see is that they're kind of actually pretty dull at the tip. And so it takes an incredible amount of force for that tail spike to actually go right into the predator. And so it would still be very blunt, but it would still be pointy enough that it would actually still injure the predator very, 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 very badly. And so I would actually say that if you're talking about the tail spikes, yes, they're going to be pointy in a way, and they're going to be pointy. But whereas the plates on the back, they're going to be pointy in some cases. And is Argentinosaurus the biggest dinosaur? Well, so far, right now, it is. Because you see, for a long time, it was actually believed that at the Celion, the sauropod that was discovered by Edward Drinker Cope was considered to be the largest sauropod or the largest dinosaur ever found. But now that has actually been debunked because the evidence of the fossil is long gone. And so it is actually going to be very difficult to actually find out what that dinosaur would have actually looked like. But with Argentinosaurus, there's a little bit more specimens. I think there's a couple of specimens of Argentinosaurus out there. And of course, you actually have a nearly complete, partial skeleton, not a complete skeleton, but a partial skeleton, of Argentinosaurus, and they can give an idea of how big Argentinosaurus really is. Now, there's always the news media actually claiming like, oh, this is the biggest dinosaur ever, like Patagotitan or Yutyrannus. Yutyrannus is not as big as Argentinosaurus, and Patagotitan is near the size of Argentinosaurus, but it would actually be lengthwise, it would actually be the longest dinosaur, but in terms of heaviness, not so much. But if you're talking about mass, then Argentinosaurus would actually be the actual one that will actually be in the throne of the heaviest dinosaur ever. But in terms of biggest, that's actually up for debate still. So Argentinosaurus right now is still considered the largest dinosaur, but we'll see what happens. There could possibly be a sauropod out there that could actually dethrone Argentinosaurus as being the heaviest or the largest dinosaur ever found. Alright, that's it for now. Next week would actually be a special episode to let you guys know what kind of prehistoric animal I'm going to talk about, and so stay tuned for that. And you can still send me questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or just go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you guys should post your questions on the wall or in the comment section. Remember, keep your questions short to the point. And all of you YouTubers out there, feel free to subscribe, and also hit the bell to get notified about the latest videos, and also hit the like button, and that helps out the channel a great deal, and also helps me out, and also send me some questions in the comment section. I read those all the time, and I'll actually take them by heart, and I'll actually try to not to butcher your YouTube names. And so feel free to leave me questions in the comment section on the YouTube page, and I would read those all the time. And you can follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. It's a retarded page. I post pretty cool stuff on there. Also, take care of people around you. Also, for younger people out there, to make sure you listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for good education. It's very important to have a good education. So, with a good education, get a good job in the future. And I'll show you the featured item here in the museum. And here it is. Therizinosaurus hand claw. And so this is on a table. This would actually be on a table right in between Stegosaurus tail spike and plate, and also its effect in his head. And so there was actually, and so you can see how large this claw really is, and so it's pretty awesome. And in latest Rex update, the T-Rex is possibly going to be coming this fall, sometime this fall. We'll announce it on the Facebook page of Colossal Fossils and also on the website, colossalfossils.com. And feel free to keep updated on that, and we'll let you guys know when the Rex is coming. And of course, you probably heard me on the previous episode of previous Answer Questions episode that there is actually going to be another dinosaur going to be coming this fall, and stay tuned for that. And so anyway, keep up to date from Colossal Fossils. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.